pleasure to meet you. I'm Nefer, head of the Curatorium of Secrets. You may have heard a few rumors about me, but don't let that trouble you. Fact or fiction, I assure you it won't impact our collaboration. Why does Ashru sit up on the counter? To welcome our clients, of course. A kitty's gotta earn his kibble somehow. Don't trust your eyes uncritically. People only see what they want to, so don't be your own fool. Emotions are like a raging torrent that surges through the mind. More often than not, if you try to hold them back, you'll be swept away by their unstoppable force. And if you try to ignore them entirely, you'll end up tearing yourself to pieces. The blessings of the heavens do not fall impartially. Another liar exposed. Sounds like more trouble is blowing in. A déjà vu I could have done without. Morning. Ever the early bird, huh? Wish I could say the same for Yehuda. There are never any clients at this time of day. Guess I'll go take a nap. Oh, look at the time. If you'll excuse me, there's somewhere else I need to be. In the meantime, the tea should be ready. Help yourself. It's almost bedtime. Pull those curtains nice and tight now. The moon is always watching. What kind of work do we do at the Curatorium of Secrets? Well, most clients seem to think that we're in the business of rescuing cats, chasing off dogs, and collecting debts. But personally, I don't tend to get involved in menial errands like that. The Curatorium's doors are open to all, but only those with a key are granted access to the inner sanctum that is the Northern Intelligence Network. But whether they walk away with fool's gold or the real deal, well, that depends entirely on their own abilities. When people talk of their homeland, they often speak with great nostalgia, but there's nothing in my past to remember fondly. If there is a glimmer of hope to be found, it lies in what has yet to come. Most people are incapable of hiding their true feelings. As long as I watch their faces closely, I can see right through them. And when I can't, well, that's when Thoth's little blessing comes in handy. Just kidding. To this day, I've never met anyone I couldn't read like a book. Maybe there really is some mysterious link between Thoth and the moon, and that's why I ended up with this thing. But I wouldn't exactly say it feels like the gaze of the gods. More like the gaze of that old trickster watching my every step from behind. Not that I have any proof, of course, but I guess a good liar is always afraid of being lied to themselves. Back when I was at the academia, I belonged to the Vahumana Darshan, which specializes in social studies and historical research. Back then, we desert dwellers had only one purpose in the academia's eyes: to record our tragic history as material for cautionary tales and polite conversation. Perhaps a few of them would even shed a few noble tears of pity for us poor souls. Though, of course, they'd never actually lift a finger to help us. There are actually plenty of things to drink in the desert, like the moisture from plant roots, or water from damp sand, deep underground. But whatever you do, don't go drinking animal blood. It'll only make you thirstier, and it coats your throat like glue, making it impossible to spit out or swallow. Our pure and merciful Lady Moonchanter. So kind, so gentle, and full of compassion for all. It's no wonder that people are drawn to her. Even the local wildlife can't help but nuzzle up against her hand as they walk by. But don't get too close, or you might just wake up one day to find she's charmed you into embracing a whole new religion. Oh, I see. She's won you over already, hasn't she? It is often said that politeness is the most effective means of keeping strangers at bay. I guess that makes Mr. Flint's a master of the art of social distancing. He wears his etiquette like a suit of shining armor. Impeccable, impenetrable, hiding whatever lies beneath. Don't get me wrong. I pride myself on being a tactful friend, and I know how to smile and play along. But whether Mr. Flint's is a lightkeeper or a fae, from Nodcry or Snezhnaya, it makes no difference to me. First and foremost, we are friends, and the foundation of friendship is trust. Yehoda is the most capable, and frankly the most valuable of the Curatorium's employees. Without her, the whole place would surely grind to a halt. Yes, she can be reckless and proud, but she is also brave and kind. Some might call her immature, but I see that as a blessing. After all, once you've reached maturity in life, it's all downhill from there. And I'm counting on her to run my errands for a few years yet. The robotic arm she made for Yehoda works surprisingly well, though it certainly didn't come cheap. Relax. I covered the manufacture and maintenance costs up front. Yehoda is my most valuable employee after all. I'm not even charging interest on the repayments. Word of the kind-hearted Flame Mane reached my ears long ago. It's not every day you hear of mercenaries willing to spend that kind of money on raising a child. And if the rumors are true, the power in her gauntlets has some ties to King Deshret, too. That's life in the desert of Sumeru for you. Things that seem completely unrelated turn out to be connected by unseen threads. And then one day, when people least expect it, the tangled web of complexity bursts out into the open. Anyway, it sounds like Dia's done pretty well for herself. I hear she managed to get hired by a nice, wealthy family. Candace and I go way back. We met when I first arrived at Aru Village after losing my home. She was one of the few children willing to talk to me. We did all sorts of things together. Drove off wild beasts, fought off bandits, cared for those in hardship. If that's not friendship, I'm not sure what is. You've got to hand it to Hermanubis. He's a good judge of character. He managed to recruit someone with a very solid work ethic to do his bidding. And the General Mahamatra certainly has his work cut out for him. The academia breathing down his neck on the one hand, and a tireless boss watching his every move on the other. I honestly wonder how he ever manages to unwind. Lord Sangama Bay is a regular business partner of mine. Besides Mora, she also brings me news from Sumeru, of insomniac students sleepwalking through the library, poor souls cured of Elazar, and a Vahumana Darshan now bustling with people and showing great promise. From the sounds of it, the academia is finally beginning to show some signs of life. How very heartwarming. Master Diluc Ragenvinder is a key informant of mine in Mondstadt. I generally refer to him by the codename Owl. As for how we met and came to work together, well, out of consideration for his privacy, I won't go into the details. What I can say is this. Working with Master Diluc is always a pleasure. At the very least, he pays promptly. Miss Yelan is one of the Curatorium's... No, make that the entire Northern Intelligence Network's most valued clients. Whenever she comes looking for intel, she pays up front, in cash, and in full. She never leaves me even the slightest room to cash in a favor in the future. Even with the most sensitive intel, which I don't give out easily, she'll throw down twice, even 3 times the asking price without flinching, until I finally cave in and hand it over. People from Liyue Harbor sure know how to spend, I'll give them that. Must be nice having that kind of money. As you're no doubt aware, I'm the one in charge of the Curatorium of Secrets. My job? Solving problems that other people can't, or won't, deal with themselves. And for better or worse, there's plenty of those people around in Nodcry. So I don't think I'll be going hungry anytime soon. Nodcry draws in all sorts. Ambitious adventurers, lawless rogues, Wanted criminals and drifters with nowhere else left to go. They all come chasing dreams, eyes bright with aspiration, hoping to strike it rich or make a name for themselves in this anarchist's paradise. Me, you ask? Chasing your dreams is a high-risk, low-return venture. Not my style at all. I'd rather help others chase theirs. After all, dreams are illusory and fleeting, but the dreamers themselves, they're real as real can be, and more than willing to pay for a little help. I don't regard Sumeru as my homeland. It never offered me warmth or tenderness, just shoved a blade in my hand and left me to fight or die. Still, at least I had the chance to carve out my own path. They say that the winds of change are blowing in Sumeru. Perhaps I ought to see what all the fuss is about. Though I find it hard to imagine that the academia is any less dull than it used to be. The way I see it, a person's hometown should be somewhere they can sleep soundly and breathe easy, free from fears and burdens. A place full of warm memories, old friends and family, who welcome you back with open arms no matter how long you've been away. Somewhere you can stop to rest and gather your strength before setting out once more to face whatever the future holds. Tell me, is that what your hometown is like? I don't expect I'll ever find somewhere to truly call home, where I genuinely feel at peace. In my experience, every connection I ever make seems to get torn away eventually. Maybe that's just the price of accepting a gift from a trickster, huh? In the end, it is a fate that nothing and no one will escape. Not you, not Yehoda, not Ashru, not even Nodcry itself. You'd still come to see me? Or at the very least, stay in touch? You really think that'll be enough to break the desert's curse? A little naive, but sure, why not? I'll be expecting your letters, and hoping they don't suddenly stop coming. Every now and then, I watch people from my window and try to deduce what they're thinking, or where they might be headed. You should try it sometime. It's good mental training, and actually surprisingly entertaining. Plus, if a friend or client happens to visit at the right moment, you can casually mention what the person outside does for a living, or what's been weighing on their mind lately. They'll either be thoroughly stunned or thoroughly impressed. I still haven't found the answer Thoth needs, and I must say, being led around by someone else, mortal or divine, is not a particularly pleasant experience. The Ibis Kings seem to find my response amusing enough. It's just a shame that it wasn't the correct answer King Deshret was looking for. Then again, if I ever do find it, Thoth will be set free. And frankly, I'm not too keen on the idea of handing over such a precious gift on a silver platter. Least of all to that old swindler. So there it is. A classic lose-lose situation. I don't really have any strong food preferences, but I am in the habit of drinking a lot of water. You should too. It's good for you. Why water? Oh, just an old habit. Born from less than pleasant experiences. I'm not picky when it comes to food, but I do prefer it to be fully cooked. It just feels safer, that's all. As long as it's not raw or made with animal blood, I'm good. Well, color me impressed. Ever thought about getting a day job? The Curatorium could use a chef like you. We'd pay top Mora for it, too. Not bad. Not bad at all. Didn't peg you for a cook. Ugh. Well, it certainly has a distinctive flavor. I'll see what Yehoda thinks of it later. I'm not the best at picking gifts, so how about this? I'll pose 3 questions to you, and if you find the correct answers, I'll... Relax. That was meant to be a joke. Here, take this book. It's a collection of desert folklore and fairy tales. Some of the most complete versions that exist. Generations of desert dwellers have grown up hearing them, and passed them on themselves. Who knows? Once you've finished reading them, perhaps you'll be able to thrive in the desert too.